Darn camera keeps shutting off on me. Anyway, as I was saying in the last video, not that I'm the biggest Andrew Tate fan, but sometimes the guy makes a good point, right? And he was saying like the inflation sometimes benefits the wealthy guys because they have big assets, and if the inflation hits, you buy something, you buy a, like he says, you buy a Maserati for this much and you sell it for more than what you paid for it, you know? And that reminds me back in the 90s, Harley Davidsons, guys were doing that. Like, they'd buy a Harley Davidson, they'd wait 2 years to get it because Harley wasn't producing that much bikes like they are now, right? And they would wait 2 years to get it, they'd get it, and I mean, the bikes were outrageous. You know, there was a $60,000 bike in the 1990s. That's big money. That'd be like a $120,000 vehicle today, you know, in equivalent money, I'm sure. But then they'd ride it for 2 years and sell it for about $5 grand to $10 grand more than they paid for it. You know, just because the waiting list. You know, there was the guys that, sure, I'll just pay the extra because I just don't want to wait. You know, and that's what you got to do, is pander to the people that can afford the convenience. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people that have to look for the everyday low prices, and then haggle to see if I can get them even lower. You know what I mean? I'm that guy. Hopefully I won't be that guy my whole life, but you know, you got to make do with what you got, right? And it's like my buddy, he's on his, he just bought another motorcycle. He bought a Gixxer. he's just become into a Gixxer bro. You know, I think it's the second Gixxer that he's ever had though. But he's going from like he's got an Indian, he's got 2 Harleys. His wife just bought a little Ninja 650, and he just bought another. He bought GSX-R 600, the newer one. Good bike. I don't know why he didn't go for the 1000 though. Like, I mean, for the insurance, like they're almost not making any 600s anymore, just because it's the same insurance bracket as a 1000. Had I known that when I was getting my sport bike, I would have just went ahead and bought the 1000. You know what I mean? There was no difference. You know, but you know, hindsight's 2020. That said, you can't use the power of a 1000 on the street without doing felony speeds, right? So, but anyway, yeah. So, you know, good for him. You know, I'm never jealous of people or whatever. You know, if they're doing well, they're doing well. But like, you know, guys like me, it's the total opposite. Like, I can't even keep my bike running. You know what I mean? But I have plans for that bike that might be a little different, because I'm not saying my I guess my video is going to switch up to a different topic. I'm not saying my sport bike days are over by any stretch of the imagination, but what I am saying is that I don't know if I can rationalize it, you know, having a 1000 or even a 600 Super Sport on the street. It's just way too much, but it's supercar power for like $3 grand. You know, like your typical, even older Super Sport, just to get the shittiest of the whatever the slowest 600cc Super Sport would be. Let's say it's a 1990s case, you know, ZX 600. Okay, let's say it's that. Well, I don't know if it's that, but we'll just say it is. Okay, and that's the slowest bike. Well, that bike's still going to be a 150-mile-an-hour bike. To get a car that goes between, say, 130 to 140 miles an hour is probably going to be a $70,000 to $80,000 car, right there. 120 miles an hour could be any car, right? But above that, probably it's going to probably be in the luxury brand of things, right? Or the sport, you know, the sport car of things. To get a car to go from 130 to 150, be about $1,000 cheaper because it's not a first year, it's a second year, right? That bike, you might pick it up for $1,500 to $5,000 depending on the condition, right? And that's like Lotus speed, you know what I mean? Like, which is like almost a $250,000 car. You know what I mean? So like super bikes are just ridiculously powerful. The old S-Rad 750s. That's the only. No, I've ridden 2 Suzuki super bikes. Well, I call it a super bike. Most people will laugh at me for saying this, but the Katana 1100. Trust me, guys, that's a super bike. It's a sport touring bike, but trust me, when you wind that thing full throttle, and I have, that's an old bike. It's the old bike, like that thing. I was at 230, 240 clicks, and it still had lots left. You know what I mean? That was a fast machine. You know what I mean? Like that was a fast machine, and it was crazy fast. Now the S-Rad was the S-Rad 750. That thing was like crazy because it was like a light switch. Nothing. I'm gonna kill you. That bike was so insane. It was carbureted. It was jetted right for the top end. Like there was a little bit on the low end, almost nothing in the middle, and just everything from about $7,000 up. It was just everything. Like here you go. From $7,000 to $11,000, it was just a complete insanity and twitchy and yeah, you know, my kind of machine, just completely dangerous, right? Well, it was a very dangerous machine, but it was fast. And that bike, I mean, you pick that bike up now, you know, maybe $2,000, you know, and it still will outperform most supercars. You know, like that's crazy. Now the hypercars, well, that's a different story, of course. I mean, those things are, I forget, it's the Bugatti, anyway, it's a $40 million car. It's like one of 4. It's a Citroen, Bugatti Citroen or whatever. And, but it's like the, like everything's carbon fiber on it. It's tuned to the max. You name it, right? Well, look at this nice truck coming up. Hope he's going to wait. Okay, nobody in there. He pulls out in front of me. I'm not saying I'll do a lot of damage to him, but he'll do a lot of damage to me. Well, that's nice truck. But anyway, yeah, so a car like that, I remember I watched it was Bugatti Veyron against an H2 and the newest H2, or no, the newest Hayabusa and the newest Panigale Ducati V4, and it won most of the smackdowns. They were on a runway. I'd love to. There used to be a runway that you could go to and race your bikes in Ottawa, but they closed it down. It's too bad. It wasn't a drag race, but it was like it was a runway that you could use, right? And it was an old runway. It was pretty rough, but man, what a great place to open up a bike. But that's what I mean about you know, like sport bikes. I love the sport bikes, but they're just too much power to have any fun with. Because like my TT600, that thing, like, yeah, if you kept the RPMs low, it was like riding a 250. It was easy to ride. But as soon as you got into about 5,000 RPM, it was like you had to speed check yourself all the time. And if you brought it above 5,500, the power starts kicking in. And at above 7, it just turns into lunacy. And that bike, yeah, it's a 600, but it's fast. That's not a stock 600 either. So, like, I remember the guy bringing it up out of the Good Time Center, bringing it up to me. He goes, "Man, that bike moves." And he was just coming out of the, you know, for a 600, it moves. You know, like it. It's not the fastest 600. I get it. You know, it's 2003 technology, whatever. But it is a fast bike. You know, it will do $1.25, or sorry, $1.50. Don't ask me how I know. And for 600 is has a 243 caliber. We'll just say it like that. That's all I'll admit to. And that's pretty damn fast. That is pretty damn fast. Now it's controllable. It's a controllable bike, but you get one of like a I don't know how anybody can not go